Get rid of solo queue. For too long, Riot's refusal to let the league community just play ranked with their friends has turned the game mode into a lonely, toxic hellscape in which communication is constantly being limited. And for what? Just so you can say that you earned your rank all by yourself? Look, I have a ton of thoughts on this, and presumably so do you, so let's iron them out once and for all. Okay, so we all know that in just about any team-oriented esport, ranked is just about the most miserable player experience anyone can have. Solo queue is, in no uncertain terms, the principal cause of virtually every grievance anyone has ever had with any ranked system ever. I'm serious. Whether your teammates are bad, rude, idiotic, inting, or actual bigots, the one commonality they all share is this: they weren't your first choice. In fact, they weren't your choice at all. They were Riot's or some other game developers. Why am I soliloquizing like this? Well, because several weeks back, Riot made the staggeringly hilarious decision to make it so that in League of Legends, your teammates cannot see certain pings. They've since made adjustments as to which pings are visible, but the general consensus was and continues to be, what?
Wait, so if I ping my support, I can see my pings, but he can't see them. So what the f*** is the point? Am I just gonna talk to myself? About myself? To myself?
They've changed the ping, so now if I ping a teammate, only I can see it. See, it's a self ping. But dude, the guy's not paying attention. I can't ping him, he doesn't see it. He doesn't have items, we're all telling him.
As much as they're gonna remove the pings from being able to spam ping, I feel like the players are just gonna find something else to do.
Now, for those who don't know, there is ostensibly a good reason to want to stifle certain pings in League of Legends. The bait ping, for instance, had infamously started to be misused as a way for extremely toxic players to deride other players, given its initial resemblance to a noose.
You can ping me if you want. There's a lot of new pings now. You can use bait ping, which I know a lot of people use for different reasons.
The issue, of course, is that actual well-intended allied pings were suffering as a result. But this is all just symptomatic of a larger issue, which is that Riot have slowly turned ranked solo queue into a single-player video game. You pick a role, queue ranked by yourself or with at most one friend, load into a server where there are no voice comms, no pings, and no shits given for any lane or position that is not your own. It is a PvE video game. And for some reason, the community wants that. For those who don't know, Riot have made changes to the ranked infrastructure over the years, removing solo queue and wanting to remove duo queue, and then reinstating solo queue because the community whined and Riot were huge cowards and acquiesced, and yeah. It's a nightmare. It always has been. Essentially, the community has become so accustomed to the misery and despair of having to earn one's rank all by oneself that they started whining at the prospect of actually having to play League of Legends the way it was intended to be played. They had this idea that unless your rank involved herding cats and baiting brain-dead Akalis, it somehow didn't count. And some of you watching this video are probably long-time League players, and maybe you've been indoctrinated with this way of thinking. Here's the thing though, you're wrong, because you are the only ones who insist that it be done this way. Ranked in Dota 2, for instance, a game in which I have roughly 6,000 hours, used to be split into solo and party queue. And for many years of my life, the better part of a decade, it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. CSGO and CS2 Premier, Face It, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, even Destiny. All of these games allow you to queue the quote-unquote real ranked mode with your friends and earn actual elo. And in none of those game modes does anyone tells me to myself because I opted for a full clear on Jarvan. But I don't have any friends to play with, you might say. Then make some. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not. I just do not think that the entire player base has to suffer racist, sexist, inting, idiotic teammates all because I have someone to play with and you don't. That's insane and in no way worth it. Now, some of you who don't play League, and God bless you, might be thinking, why not just play flex queue? Why play solo queue? Because flex queue is, quite frankly, a meme. It's a joke. No one takes it seriously, and the only way to fix that is to meld solo queue and flex queue together. Here's the other thing though, and a lot of League players are not going to want to hear this, but it's the truth. Solo queue is already also a fucking joke. Aside from League, because again, why would you ever take League rank seriously? I am diamond equivalent or higher in virtually all of the multiplayer esports titles I play. I know most people probably know me as like the CS guy, but I actually have quite a wide-ranging experience with different rank systems and how to climb them. And I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that League is the worst, and that it's not even close. The only sensible way to play League Ranked, and the only reason I play it, is to treat it as a seasonal event that you play once, now twice a year, to get a Victorious skin with the cool chroma you want, and then immediately stop playing because you refuse to hate yourself and the bulk of humanity in the name of a video game. In no way, shape, or form does solo duo queue engender actual competitive gameplay. It doesn't at all. It is a form of online gambling. If I want to play actual League, I queue norms with a 5-stack. So again, is it stupid that Riot are stifling communication to the point of non-existence? Yes, certainly. But what's even stupider is that none of this would be necessary if they just let me play the game mode that's supposed to matter with the people that I want to play with. Just like they did in Valorant. 3 years ago, Riot finally released another competitive multiplayer title that replicated this exact infrastructure. And yes, there are problems. There are problems with every ranked system. It is an inherently imperfect player experience. But Valorant ranked is leagues better than League. The difference is that in Valorant, you don't have over 10 years of Stockholm Syndrome handcuffing Riot and making it impossible for them to create any sort of meaningful change in a hopelessly miserable player experience. The League community has become so accustomed to the link between ranked and despair that they can't recognize one without the other. They refuse to accept the idea that if your rank didn't come at the expense of your fucking sanity, it can't count for anything. Insta-locking some meta jungler, muting all of your teammates from the get-go, and churning out games like their hands of solitaire doesn't make you good at League. It makes you good at solo queue, and those are very different things. In Counter-Strike, however, I can do my premier placements with a 5-stack, play coordinated communicative matches that mirror pretty much exactly how I play in ESEA League, and come out with an 80% win rate. The best you can hope for in League is like a static 55 to 60% win rate. And that is if you are measurably better than the players in the rank in which you're situated. Why? Because of all of the external factors that you are susceptible to when you solo queue, like teammates who are bad, teammates who feed, teammates who are rude. Teammates, pretty much just teammates. Yeah, that's the issue. And the reason that all of this is genuinely so frustrating is because it seems like that's what Riot wants? Like they know that it is exceedingly more difficult to climb as a solo queuer, and so they force you to do it, so you will have to play hundreds of games a season just to reach a high rank. If Riot were to just remove solo duo queue and meld it together with flex queue, I swear to God, they would solve like 80% of the problems that they are currently struggling with. Right now, with this ping crap, they're treating a bullet wound with a band-aid. They're treating the symptom, not the cause. Treat the cause, please. Because honestly, and I'm just gonna say it, it is unacceptable how toxic and miserable League of Legends ranked has actually become. I mean it. It's not funny anymore. I've been playing MOBAs seriously for the better part of 15 years, and I do not know anyone who continues to grind League of Legends ranked or take it seriously in any way. This game mode has become world renowned for creating some of the most toxic players in gaming, and I genuinely think that on some level, Riot should be ashamed that they are allowing it to fester to this degree. Anyway, That's my rant. League ranked sucks hard. Everyone knows it, and they've all given up trying to wrestle with it. And there's a very easy way to make serious headway in fixing it. Stop messing around with pings and just purge solo queue from the face of Summoner's Rift. Why the League community is so opposed to such a solution speaks volumes to how resentful and genuinely traumatized they've become over the suffering they've endured. They're convinced that because they had to literally hate themselves to reach the rank they wanted, we all have to as well. If this type of solution is good enough for virtually every other multiplayer competitive title out there, it's good enough for you guys. It's good enough for League of Legends. So please, give it some thought. Let me know what you think in the comments.